Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. Just breathe in slowly and let that breath out gently. There you are. You found your way here today, and that tells me something wonderful about you. It tells me that somewhere deep inside, you know you're ready for something beautiful to unfold in your life. You're ready to step into a new relationship with yourself, one that's filled with love, acceptance, and genuine transformation. I know that life hasn't always been easy for you. Perhaps you've been carrying some heavy feelings lately, or maybe you've been struggling with thoughts that just don't serve you anymore. You might be feeling stuck in patterns that feel familiar but uncomfortable, like wearing clothes that no longer fit. Or perhaps you're simply sensing that there's more joy, more peace, more love available to you than what you're currently experiencing. Whatever has brought you to this moment, I want you to know that it's perfect. You're exactly where you need to be. The beautiful thing about being human is that we all share this common experience of wanting to feel better, wanting to love ourselves more deeply, and wanting to create positive changes in our lives. You're not alone in this desire, sweet one. Every person who has ever lived has had moments where they've looked in the mirror and wished they could see themselves through kinder eyes, or times when they've wanted their inner voice to speak with more love and less criticism. What you're about to experience together with me is a gentle journey of 21 days that can shift everything for you, not through force or struggle, but through the most natural process in the world, the process of loving yourself back to wholeness. This isn't about fixing yourself because, darling, you were never broken. This is about remembering who you really are underneath all the layers of old programming and worn-out beliefs that no longer serve your highest good. Think of this time we'll spend together as planting seeds in the most fertile garden you've ever tended, the garden of your own mind and heart. Just as a gardener doesn't plant a seed and expect it to bloom overnight, we're going to approach your transformation with patience, consistency, and so much love. You don't need to pressure yourself to change everything at once. You don't need to be perfect at this. You just need to show up with willingness and an open heart. The truth is, you already have everything you need inside you to create the life you truly desire. Sometimes we just need gentle reminding, loving guidance, and a safe space to reconnect with our own inner wisdom. That's what these 21 days will provide for you. A loving container where you can explore new ways of thinking, feeling, and being that align with who you're becoming rather than who you think you have to be based on your past. I've witnessed thousands of people transform their lives through this simple yet profound practice of deep affirmations and meditation. Not because there's anything magical about the words themselves, but because when we speak loving thoughts to ourselves consistently, something beautiful begins to happen. Our nervous system relaxes, our heart opens, our mind becomes quieter and more peaceful. And in that space of inner peace, we naturally begin to make choices that support our well-being and happiness. You might be wondering if this will really work for you. Maybe you've tried affirmations before and felt like you were just saying empty words. Perhaps you've attempted meditation and found your mind too busy or restless. I want you to release any pressure you might be feeling about doing this right. There is no wrong way to love yourself. There is no wrong way to speak kindly to your own heart. What matters is that you're here, you're willing, and you're ready to treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a dear friend. Over the next 21 days, we're going to work together to create new pathways in your thinking. Not through force or willpower, but through repetition of loving thoughts that feel good to think and good to feel. You're going to discover that changing your relationship with yourself is one of the most powerful things you can do to change everything else in your life. When you treat yourself with kindness, when you speak to yourself with love, when you honor your own heart, everything shifts. Now, you might be curious about why 21 days specifically, and there's such beautiful wisdom in this time frame that I'm excited to share with you. The human brain is remarkably adaptable, much more than most of us realize. Every time you think a thought, you're actually creating a tiny pathway in your brain. When you think that same thought repeatedly, that pathway becomes stronger and more defined, like a walking trail that becomes more clear the more people use it. Scientists have discovered that it takes approximately 21 days of consistent practice to begin rewiring these neural pathways in a meaningful way. This isn't just wishful thinking or positive psychology. This is actual, measurable changes happening in the structure of your brain. When you repeat loving, supportive thoughts about yourself for 21 consecutive days, you're literally rewiring your brain to default to kindness rather than criticism, to hope rather than fear, to love rather than judgment. Think of your mind like a garden that has been growing wild for many years. Some beautiful flowers have grown there naturally, but there are also plenty of weeds, old thought patterns that sprouted from difficult experiences, limiting beliefs that took root during challenging times, and self-critical voices that grew stronger through repetition. The beautiful thing about gardens is that with consistent, loving care, we can encourage the flowers to flourish while gently removing the weeds that no longer serve the garden's beauty. This process of rewiring your brain through loving repetition is so gentle and natural. You're not fighting against your old patterns or trying to force them to disappear. You're simply giving more attention, more energy, and more love to the thoughts and feelings you want to grow stronger in your life. Just as flowers grow toward sunlight, your mind will naturally grow toward whatever you consistently feed it with loving attention. The reason 21 days works so beautifully is that it gives you enough time to move through the initial resistance that often comes up when we start treating ourselves differently. In the first few days, you might notice your old patterns trying to convince you that this is silly or that you don't deserve loving thoughts. This is completely normal and actually a sign that you're beginning to shift something real. Your old programming is simply trying to maintain the status quo because change, even positive change, can feel unfamiliar at first. By day 7 or 8, something begins to soften. The loving words start to feel more natural on your tongue. Your heart begins to relax into receiving kindness from yourself. By day 14, you might notice that your inner dialogue has become gentler throughout your regular day, not just during your meditation time. And by day 21, these loving thoughts and feelings begin to feel like your new normal rather than something you have to remember to practice. What's particularly beautiful about this process is that every single day builds upon the previous day. You're not starting from scratch each morning. You're adding another layer of love, another moment of kindness, another gentle affirmation to the foundation you're building. Some days the practice might feel easy and flowing. Other days it might feel a bit more challenging, and that's perfectly okay. What matters is that you continue to show up for yourself with compassion, regardless of how it feels in any given moment. This isn't about perfection, sweet one. This is about consistency wrapped in self-compassion. If you miss a day, you simply begin again the next day with love for yourself rather than criticism. If your mind wanders during meditation, you gently guide it back without judgment. If the affirmations feel awkward at first, you trust that they will become more natural with practice. Every moment of kindness you offer yourself is rewiring your brain toward greater peace and self-love. Now, before we begin this beautiful journey together, there's something important we need to address, and that's creating the right environment and mindset for your practice. Just as you wouldn't try to plant a delicate flower in rocky, harsh soil, you want to create the most nurturing conditions possible for your inner transformation to take root and flourish. Creating your sacred space doesn't require anything elaborate or expensive. It simply requires intention and love. You might choose a quiet corner of your bedroom, a comfortable chair by a window, or even a small cushion on your living room floor. What matters isn't the size or beauty of the space, but the feeling you create there. This is your sanctuary, your peaceful refuge where you come to connect with the most loving part of yourself. When you sit in this space each day, you're telling your nervous system that this is a safe place to relax, to open, and to receive love. You might want to have a soft blanket nearby for comfort, or perhaps a small plant or flower to remind you of the natural growth process you're engaging with. Some people enjoy lighting a candle to mark the beginning of their practice, while others prefer the gentle sound of soft music. Trust your instincts about what feels most nurturing and supportive for you. The most important element of your sacred space isn't what you include, but what you release. This is a place where criticism, judgment, and pressure are not welcome. This is a place where you come exactly as you are, without needing to be different or better or more spiritual than you feel. This is a place where your humanity is honored and your heart is held with the utmost tenderness. As you prepare for this practice, I want you to release any expectations about how quickly you should see results or how dramatic your transformation should be. Change happens in its own perfect timing, and your job is simply to show up with love and consistency. Some days you might feel immediate shifts in your energy or mood. Other days the benefits might be more subtle, like a general sense of greater ease or a slightly kinder inner voice. Both experiences are equally valuable and meaningful. It's also important to prepare your mind for this journey by understanding that resistance might arise, and that this resistance is actually a sign that you're doing something powerful. Your old programming has kept you safe in familiar patterns, even if those patterns no longer serve you. When you begin to shift toward greater self-love, your mind might initially react with skepticism or discomfort. This is your inner protector trying to keep you in known territory, even if that territory includes self-criticism or limitation. When resistance appears, meet it with the same gentleness you would show a frightened child. You don't need to fight it or force it to go away. You can simply acknowledge it with kindness and continue with your loving practice. Often, resistance dissolves naturally when it's met with acceptance rather than opposition. You might even thank your resistance for trying to protect you, while gently explaining that you're safe to receive love and kindness from yourself. Part of preparing your mindset involves releasing the need to understand exactly how this process works before you begin. You don't need to figure out the mechanics of transformation before allowing it to happen. Just as you don't need to understand photosynthesis to enjoy the beauty of a flower, you don't need to analyze every aspect of this practice to receive its benefits. Sometimes the most profound changes happen when we stop trying to control the process and simply allow ourselves to be lovingly guided. The beautiful thing about working with affirmations and meditation is that they meet you exactly where you are and work with your unique energy and needs. There's no competition here, no comparing your experience to anyone else's journey. Your transformation will unfold in the perfect way for you, at the perfect pace for your system to integrate these new patterns of self-love and acceptance. As you prepare to begin, set an intention not for how you want to feel at the end of 21 days, but for how you want to treat yourself during these 21 days. Perhaps your intention is to speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer your best friend. Maybe it's to listen to your heart with genuine curiosity rather than judgment, or it could be to trust that you deserve love and care simply because you exist. Whatever intention feels true for you right now is perfect. You know, darling, there's something I want to share with you about affirmations that might surprise you. Many people have tried affirmations before and felt frustrated because they seemed to just bounce off their hearts like raindrops on a windshield. They would stand in front of mirrors saying, "I love myself," while their inner voice was shouting, "No, you don't." This disconnect happens because there's a profound difference between surface statements and deep affirmations that actually reach your soul. When we speak affirmations from the surface of our minds, we're often trying to convince ourselves of something we don't yet believe. It's like trying to paint over rust without first preparing the surface. The new paint might look good for a while, but it won't last because we haven't addressed what's underneath. Deep affirmations work differently. They don't try to override your current feelings or force you to believe something that feels untrue. Instead, they plant seeds of possibility that can grow naturally over time. A surface statement might sound like, "I am completely confident and never feel insecure." But if you're currently struggling with self-doubt, this affirmation might actually create more resistance because it feels so far from your present experience. A deep affirmation honors where you are while opening the door to where you're growing. It might sound like, "I am learning to see myself with greater kindness each day," or "I am open to discovering my own worth and beauty." Can you feel the difference? One demands instant change, while the other invites gentle growth. Deep affirmations work with your subconscious mind rather than against it. Your subconscious is like a faithful friend who has been keeping track of every experience you've had, every message you've received about yourself, and every conclusion you've drawn about your worth and capabilities. This part of your mind isn't trying to limit you out of meanness. It's trying to keep you safe by maintaining patterns that feel familiar, even if they're not particularly joyful. When you speak a deep affirmation, you're having a gentle conversation with your subconscious rather than trying to shout over it. You're saying, "I know we've believed certain things about ourselves for a long time, and I appreciate how those beliefs have tried to protect us. Now we're ready to explore some new possibilities together." This approach creates partnership rather than internal conflict. The beauty of working with your subconscious mind is that it's incredibly receptive to repetition and emotion. Every time you speak a loving affirmation with genuine feeling, you're depositing love into your inner emotional bank account. Your subconscious begins to recognize these new messages as important because you're giving them consistent attention. Over time, these loving thoughts become more familiar and comfortable than the old critical ones. What makes an affirmation deep is the feeling you put behind it rather than the specific words you use. You might say, "I am worthy of love," in a mechanical way that doesn't touch your heart, or you might speak those same words while allowing yourself to feel even a tiny spark of the love you're affirming. That feeling, no matter how small, is what carries the affirmation into the deeper layers of your consciousness where real transformation happens. Sometimes the most powerful affirmations are the ones that feel slightly challenging but not overwhelming. If "I love myself completely" feels too big right now, you might start with, "I am willing to be kinder to myself," or "I am open to discovering what self-love feels like." These gentler affirmations create a bridge between where you are and where you're going, making the journey feel manageable rather than impossible. As we work together over these 21 days, you'll notice that some affirmations resonate immediately while others might feel awkward at first. This is perfectly normal and actually helpful information. The affirmations that feel natural right away are confirming truths that you already know deep down but might have forgotten. The ones that feel uncomfortable are often the ones you need most. They're pointing to areas where you're ready to grow in self-love and acceptance. Now, let's create the foundation for your meditation practice, because this quiet, centered space is where your affirmations will have their deepest impact. Meditation isn't about emptying your mind or achieving some perfect state of peace. It's about coming home to yourself, creating a loving space where you can hear your own heart and speak to yourself with genuine tenderness. We'll begin with your breath, because your breath is always available to you as an anchor of peace and presence. Your breath connects your body and your spirit, your conscious mind and your deeper wisdom. When you focus on breathing slowly and gently, you're sending a message to your nervous system that it's safe to relax, safe to open, safe to receive love. Let's practice this together right now. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Feel the warmth of your hands against your body. Now breathe in slowly through your nose, allowing your belly to expand like a gentle balloon filling with air. Don't force anything, just allow your body to receive this breath as a gift. As you exhale through your mouth, let your belly soften and your shoulders drop away from your ears. This is your natural rhythm of receiving and releasing, of taking in what nourishes you and letting go of what no longer serves. With each breath, you're not just taking in oxygen, you're taking in life force, peace, and the possibility of loving yourself more deeply. With each exhale, you're not just releasing carbon dioxide, you're releasing tension, worry, and old patterns that have kept you from experiencing your full worth and beauty. Your breath becomes a gentle rhythm of self-care, a way of tending to yourself with the same love you would offer someone precious to you. As your breathing becomes slower and more natural, allow your body to settle into this moment. Notice any areas where you might be holding tension, perhaps in your jaw, your shoulders, your hands. Without judgment, simply send your breath to these places and invite them to soften. Your body has been carrying so much for you, working so hard to keep you safe and strong. This is a moment to thank your body and let it know that it's okay to rest. It's okay to be cared for. Let your attention move gently through your body like a warm golden light. Starting from the top of your head, imagine this loving light touching every part of you with acceptance and gratitude. Your forehead can relax, your eyes can soften, your jaw can release any tension it's been holding. Your neck and shoulders can drop into comfort. This light isn't trying to change anything about you. It's simply offering love to every part of who you are right now. As this warmth moves through your chest, let it expand in your heart space. Your heart has felt so much, experienced so many emotions, given love even when it was difficult, and kept beating faithfully through every challenge you faced. Place both hands on your heart now and feel its steady rhythm. This is the sound of your life force, your inner strength, your capacity for love. Thank your heart for all the ways it has served you and let it know that you're here to take better care of it now. Let this golden light of love and acceptance continue down through your arms, warming your hands that have worked so hard and held so much. Down through your torso, appreciating all the ways your body supports your life. Into your hips and legs that carry you through each day, and down to your feet that keep you grounded and moving forward. You are completely held in this moment by your own loving presence. From this place of deep relaxation and self-acceptance, you're ready to connect with your inner wisdom, that part of you that has always known your true worth, that has never forgotten your inherent goodness, that sees you through the eyes of unconditional love. This inner wisdom isn't separate from you. It is you, the you that exists beyond all the stories and struggles, beyond all the doubts and fears. It's the you that has been waiting patiently for this moment when you're ready to listen with your whole heart. Now we come to the heart of our practice together, the deep affirmations that will plant seeds of transformation in the fertile soil of your relaxed, open consciousness. These aren't just words to repeat, but loving truths to feel and embody. Each affirmation we'll work with has been chosen to address a different area of your life while weaving together to create a complete tapestry of self-love and empowerment. We'll begin with affirmations for your relationship with yourself because this is the foundation that supports everything else in your life. From this centered, peaceful place, allow these words to sink deeply into your heart. I am worthy of love simply because I exist. My worth is not based on what I do or achieve, but on the beautiful truth of who I am. Feel these words not just in your mind, but in your whole being. Let them settle into your heart like gentle rain soaking into thirsty earth. Repeat with me. I choose to treat myself with the same kindness I would offer my dearest friend. I speak to myself with love. I listen to my needs with compassion, and I honor my feelings without judgment. Notice how it feels to make this choice consciously, to decide that you deserve the same care and understanding you would naturally give to someone you love. Now let's work with affirmations for healing and self-forgiveness. I release myself from the prison of past mistakes and regrets. I am learning and growing every day, and I choose to see my past as a teacher rather than a judge. Feel the freedom in these words, the permission to be human, to have a journey that includes both struggles and growth. My body is wise and beautiful, and I treat it with respect and gratitude. Every cell in my body is working for my highest good, and I support my body's natural healing and vitality. Place your hands on your heart as you speak these words, feeling the connection between your loving thoughts and your physical being. For your abundance and prosperity, I am open to receiving all the good that life has to offer. I deserve prosperity, joy, and success, and I allow these gifts to flow to me easily and naturally. Let yourself feel deserving as you speak these words, releasing any old beliefs that abundance is for other people, but not for you. My talents and gifts are valuable and needed in this world. I express my unique creativity with confidence and joy, knowing that I have something beautiful to contribute. Feel the truth of your own uniqueness, the special combination of qualities that exist only in you. For your relationships and connection with others, I attract loving, supportive relationships into my life. I am worthy of love and respect, and I give and receive love freely and joyfully. Let these words open your heart to the possibility of deeper, more authentic connections with the people in your life. I forgive those who have hurt me, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because I deserve peace. I release resentment and choose love for my own freedom and well-being. Feel the lightness that comes with releasing old grudges and choosing your own peace over being right about old hurts. Each affirmation we speak together is like planting a seed in the garden of your consciousness. You don't need to believe every word completely right now. You just need to be willing to plant the seed and trust that with consistent watering through repetition and feeling, something beautiful will grow. Some seeds will sprout quickly, while others will take more time to push through the soil of old conditioning. Both processes are perfect and necessary. As you continue this beautiful journey of transformation with me, there's something important I want you to understand about the process you're experiencing. Sometimes, especially in the first few days of practicing these loving affirmations, you might notice an interesting phenomenon. A voice in your head might start to speak up, questioning what you're doing or telling you that this is silly or pointless. You might feel uncomfortable or awkward speaking loving words to yourself. This isn't a sign that something is wrong. It's actually a sign that something very right is happening. This inner resistance is like an old security guard who has been protecting you for years using the only methods it knew how. This part of your mind learned long ago that staying small, being self-critical, or expecting the worst might keep you safe from disappointment or rejection. When you start treating yourself with love and speaking words of encouragement, this security guard gets nervous because change feels threatening, even when it's positive change. The beautiful thing is that you don't need to fight this resistance or make it go away. Fighting with yourself only creates more inner conflict, and that's not what we're here to do. Instead, you can learn to work with resistance the same way you might work with a scared animal, with patience, gentleness, and understanding. When that critical voice starts speaking, you can thank it for trying to protect you, and then gently redirect your attention back to the loving practice at hand. Sometimes resistance shows up as doubt about whether you really deserve the love you're affirming. Old wounds or messages from the past might surface, trying to convince you that self-love is selfish or that you haven't earned the right to treat yourself kindly. When this happens, it's helpful to remember that every person who has ever lived has struggled with feelings of unworthiness at times. You're not broken or defective, you're human, and healing these old wounds is part of your natural evolution toward greater wholeness. Other times, resistance might appear as restlessness or distraction during your meditation time. Your mind might feel particularly busy, jumping from thought to thought like a monkey swinging through trees. This is also completely normal, especially when you're asking your mind to slow down and focus on love when it's used to running on worry or criticism. Be gentle with your wandering mind. Each time you notice your attention has drifted and lovingly guide it back to your breath or your affirmations, you're actually strengthening your capacity for self-love and presence. There might be days when the affirmations feel hollow or untrue, when you speak the words but can't feel any emotion behind them. This doesn't mean you're failing or doing it wrong. Think of these moments like watering a garden during a drought. Even if you can't see immediate results, you're still nourishing the soil and keeping hope alive. Sometimes the most powerful growth happens underground, in the invisible spaces where new roots are forming. Resistance can also show up as perfectionism, where you start judging your practice or comparing your experience to some imaginary ideal. You might catch yourself thinking that you should be feeling more peaceful by now, or that your affirmations should sound more confident, or that you're not meditating correctly. When these thoughts arise, simply notice them with curiosity rather than judgment. Perfectionism is just another form of self-criticism dressed up as motivation, and it has no place in this loving practice. The key to working with resistance is to meet it with the same compassion you would offer a friend who is struggling. You might even speak directly to your resistance with kindness. I notice that you're feeling scared about these changes, and that's okay. We don't have to rush. We can take this slowly and gently, one breath at a time. This approach often helps resistance relax because it feels heard and respected rather than ignored or pushed away. Now, while your meditation time creates the foundation for transformation, the real magic happens when you begin carrying this loving energy with you throughout your day. The goal isn't to become a different person for 20 minutes each morning and then return to old patterns for the rest of your day. The goal is to gradually integrate this new way of relating to yourself into every aspect of your life. Living your affirmations means looking for opportunities throughout your day to treat yourself with the same kindness you practice during meditation. When you make a mistake at work, instead of immediately jumping into self-criticism, you can pause and ask yourself, how can I speak to myself about this with love? When you look in the mirror, instead of focusing on what you wish were different, you can practice seeing yourself through eyes of appreciation and acceptance. One beautiful way to integrate your practice is to use transitional moments throughout your day as reminders to reconnect with loving thoughts about yourself. When you're waiting at a red light, you might take a deep breath and repeat one of your affirmations silently. When you're washing your hands, you can use that moment to appreciate your body and all the ways it serves you. When you're walking from one place to another, you can practice speaking to yourself internally with the same gentleness you would use with someone you care about deeply. Your interactions with other people also become opportunities to practice self-love. When someone treats you unkindly, instead of automatically assuming it's because something is wrong with you, you can remember your worth and respond from a place of self-respect rather than self-doubt. When someone gives you a compliment, instead of deflecting it or minimizing it, you can practice receiving it gracefully and allowing it to water the seeds of self-appreciation you're growing. The way you care for your physical needs throughout the day becomes another expression of your affirmations. Choosing nourishing foods becomes a way of saying, "I love and respect my body." Getting adequate rest becomes an affirmation of your worth and your commitment to treating yourself well. Moving your body in ways that feel good becomes a celebration of your strength and vitality rather than a punishment for perceived flaws. Even your response to challenging emotions can become an opportunity to live your affirmations. When you feel sad, angry, or frustrated, instead of judging these feelings as wrong or trying to push them away, you can practice holding space for your emotions with compassion. You might say to yourself, "It's okay to feel this way. All my feelings are welcome here. I can feel this emotion and still love myself completely." The beautiful thing about integrating your practice into daily life is that it creates a positive feedback loop. The more you treat yourself with love throughout the day, the more natural and authentic your formal affirmation practice becomes. And the stronger your meditation foundation becomes, the easier it is to choose loving responses to yourself during challenging moments. Creating a sustainable 21-day practice requires finding a rhythm that works with your actual life rather than some idealized version of how you think your life should look. The most important element of success isn't perfection, it's consistency wrapped in self-compassion. You're much better off doing a shorter practice every day than attempting something elaborate that you can only maintain for a few days before giving up. Some people thrive with a morning practice, using their affirmation and meditation time to set a loving tone for the entire day. Others find that evening practice works better, using this time to release the day's stress and fill themselves with love before sleep. Still others prefer breaking their practice into smaller segments throughout the day. There's no right or wrong approach, only what works sustainably for your unique schedule and energy patterns. The key is to choose a time when you're least likely to be interrupted and most able to focus on yourself with love. This might mean waking up 15 minutes earlier, or creating a boundary around a portion of your lunch break, or establishing a bedtime routine that includes your loving practice. Whatever time you choose, treat it as sacred, not in a rigid, pressured way, but in a way that honors the importance of this gift you're giving yourself. Tracking your practice can be helpful, but do it from a place of celebration rather than judgment. You might keep a simple journal where you note how you're feeling before and after your practice, or any insights or shifts you notice. Some people like to put a star on their calendar for each day they complete their practice, creating a visual reminder of their commitment to self-love. The goal of tracking isn't to shame yourself on difficult days, but to acknowledge your dedication and notice patterns of growth. It's also important to prepare for the reality that some days will feel easier than others. There might be days when you wake up excited to sit with your affirmations, and other days when it feels like the last thing you want to do. Both experiences are part of the journey. On the challenging days, you might modify your practice, perhaps doing a shorter version, or simply sitting quietly with your hand on your heart for a few minutes while breathing love to yourself. If you miss a day, resist the urge to abandon the entire practice or start counting from day one again. Simply begin again the next day with love for yourself rather than criticism. The goal isn't to achieve a perfect streak of 21 days. The goal is to establish a loving relationship with yourself that can withstand the natural ups and downs of being human. As we near the end of our time together, I want you to understand that what you're committing to over these next 21 days isn't just a temporary practice. It's the beginning of a new way of life. You're choosing to become someone who treats themselves with kindness, who speaks to their own heart with love, who honors their worth not because of what they accomplish, but because of who they are. This commitment you're making is sacred, not because it has to be perfect, but because it represents your willingness to love yourself back to wholeness. Every time you choose a loving thought over a critical one, every time you speak to yourself with compassion instead of judgment, every time you treat your own heart with tenderness, you're contributing to the healing of our entire world. When you love yourself well, you give others permission to do the same. You already have everything you need to succeed with this practice. You don't need more time, more energy, more motivation, or more worthiness than what you possess right now. You need only your willingness to show up for yourself with love day after day, breath by breath, moment by precious moment. Trust in your own capacity for transformation. Trust in the power of loving repetition to rewire old patterns. Trust in your heart's deep wisdom and your soul's natural movement toward greater joy and peace. Trust that you deserve all the love you're about to give yourself, and so much more. The seeds we plant together over these 21 days will continue growing long after our formal practice period ends. The loving voice you're cultivating will become stronger and more natural. The peaceful presence you're developing will become your default way of being. The self-acceptance you're nurturing will bloom into a confidence that no external circumstance can shake. You are embarking on the most important relationship of your life, your relationship with yourself. Treat it with the reverence it deserves. Be patient with the process. Be gentle with your humanity. Be proud of your courage to choose love over fear, growth over stagnation, healing over staying stuck in old patterns that never truly served you. Your life is waiting for you to love yourself completely. Your dreams are waiting for you to believe in your worth. Your happiness is waiting for you to treat yourself with the kindness that has always been your birthright. These next 21 days are your invitation to step into the fullness of who you really are, loved, loving, and completely worthy of all the beauty life has to offer. Breathe deeply, beautiful soul. Feel the love that surrounds you. Trust in the journey ahead. And remember, every moment is a new opportunity to choose love for yourself. You are so worthy of this transformation, and I'm honored to be part of your journey home to yourself.